Eric Torchek is in the United Arab Emirates. Eric, in his latest comments, Donald Trump is threatening overwhelming force to deal with Iran. How worried should the world be about the prospect of war?
Well, things seem to be shifting, Jeremy, in quite a dangerous direction, and it was clear from his response that President Trump feels personally aggrieved at President Rouhani of Iran's comments, labelling the US approach as mentally deficient or mentally disabled, and the president appealing for them to talk decently. This is from someone who in the last few days has twice talked about the potential obliteration of Iran, and we know that some within the president's inner circle of advisors are known to favour military action against Iran, even if they're not saying so publicly at the moment. And Iran, for its part, has said that the US, with its latest sanctions, has killed any chance of diplomacy. So at the moment, the hope is with Europe, where key allies are urging the US to step back and also urging Iran to continue complying with the nuclear deal. And they are also expressing some reluctance about any path to war, particularly the UK, which said it did not envisage a scenario in which the US asks or the UK agrees to join a war.
And Donald Trump is expected to ask for support for any military action from allies at the G20 meeting this weekend. This would be a global call-out. What role would Australia play?
Well, Australia has criticised Iran's recent actions without perhaps, being inflammatory in its language. So it's clear Australia is exercising some caution and considering its options. We know Australia deployed with the US to some of the most recent conflicts within the Middle East, in Afghanistan, to Iraq in 2003, and again more recently as part of the global coalition against Islamic State. But I'm told at this time the discussion is more likely to be around Australia playing a supporting role, perhaps deploying surveillance aircraft, adding to the refuelling capacity on offer, but not looking towards a full-blown troop deployment.
Eric Torchek reporting from the UAE. Thank you.
Scott Morrison believes Australia can't afford to be a passive bystander in trade hostilities between the United States and China.
The Prime Minister says the trade spat, which will be the focus of talks between Presidents Donald Trump and Xi Jinping at this weekend's G20 summit, is already causing collateral damage to Australia and, more broadly, the world economy. Here's political editor Andrew Probyn.
Communist China's man in Canberra in the bustle of a parliamentary scrum.
Today was about... Sorry. Do you worry this could escalate?
Well, I hope not.
So what does fight to the end mean, Ambassador?
Ambassador Chen Jingye with a message direct from Beijing.
There's no winner in the trade war.
And a warning for the Trump administration and its allies.
We have made it clear China is open to negotiations, but we'll also fight to the end if needed.
What the end might be, left unsaid, but not China's ability to withstand extension of US tariffs on Chinese imports.
China's economy has enormous resilience, potential and flexibility.
Trade tensions have escalated. The collateral damage is spreading.
Scott Morrison urging both sides to resolve their differences. Ahead of Donald Trump's weekend meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Japan.
We should just not sit back, passively await our fate, cut to the car chase in the wake of a major power contest.
The Prime Minister sees a role for Australia between the erratic Commander-in-Chief of our most important security partner and the authoritarian leader of our biggest trade destination.
So we will play our part. We will not be passive bystanders.
Australia has triple the trade exposure to China than the United States, so there's a lot to lose if tensions worsen. But convincing China that as a rising global power, it should move away from the protectionist policies of a developing nation is not going to be easy, especially when President Xi depends on strong economic growth to keep peace at home. The effort China goes to maintaining order no better displayed than the internment camps in northern China, where 1 million people of the Uyghur Muslim minority are detained.
Ambassador,
It's training education center to help people, those who have been affected.
When will they be released then, Ambassador?
by the radical ideas to reintegrate into society.
Why does that mean reintegration?
A matter of human rights that often comes second to questions of trade.
Just because they're Muslim?
No.
Andrew Probyn, ABC News, Canberra.
The Australian and Papua New Guinea